Patrick Cook here. So welcome to session number 22 of our Mandelbulb3D Epic Rendering tutorial series. I just rendered at a DE stop of 0.4 and a ray step multiplier of 0.2. And let me get my magnifier going here and let's see what we got. Oh, that pedal really straightened out nice. I got one white dot there. That's a white dot is oversampling. There's a couple right there. They can almost pass as specular highlights. I'd say a few down in here. I say we're in pretty good shape here. Now let's draw this out and take a look at the big picture. I think we're in pretty good shape here. There we go. All right. I think we're a little bit, we need a little bit more, a little brighter, a little bit better contrast. There we go. When I change the DE stop, it also impacts the color. So I've kind of dulled the color out a little bit, but I've made a compromise. I got good quality all over, but I kind of lost some of the brightness. All right, but I can deal with that. There we go. I'm pulling the brightness back up again. Okay. You can play with all of this kind of stuff with your image editing software, but you really want to try to get your quality as good as possible here, because these are going to be, this is going to render natively, and you don't want to have to fuss with this thing on some other software. Get it right here. Seems a little bit washed out. Let me see if I can work with the gamma here. Not bad. All right, the dynamic fog seems to be creating a little bit halos right in here. You see them? See if I can work with that a little bit. Okay, too much. I don't want the sky to dominate. I don't want the sky to dominate this picture, but I do want the sky, the background, to accentuate everything. I need a little bit more work here on the light angle because I'm saturating this red up here. There we go. Okay, good. All right. Okay, save this. I'm going to call this V6, and I'm going to call that V6 final. If I could spell final. Okay, I'll go ahead and get it on the clipboard while I'm at it. Control A. Okay, just put that out of the way. Okay, now let's take a minute here and think about this. It's an interesting scene. All right, I've got a nice floor here, which gives the viewer some platform, some stability. This big object here is not in the center, it's offset. I've got a good balance here because this material over here tends to balance the picture, but I'm a little bit lopsided, which is not too bad. All right, these elements are suppressed into the background by utilizing shadow. I got this little guy out here floating. He's interesting. He's almost a distraction because the coloring on him and the lighting was handled differently than the rest of it. I would almost want to carve that out, but that's okay. The The scene itself is pretty good. It does look like things are growing. It looks very organic. It's kind of a picture that somebody would look at and say, well, I understand that. I can almost see that that could be. It's kind of weird, but it's interesting. And there certainly is enough stuff where the eye can wander around and look. So it's kind of an engaging photo image. It's an interesting scene. I'm not really sure if there's much more I can do to improve upon it. I'm certainly not clipping up here. I'm clipping over here, but that's acceptable because that's out of the field of view. The sky here, well, I should say the background, could double as sky. I could do something about that. I could probably come in here and I could manipulate my shadowing so I have a very dark, heavy sky. I could do stuff like that. Okay. Now that's really spooky because I know visually I know I have stuff in the background here, but it's kind of disappearing into the darkness. Okay. I could do stuff like that. This is too much. It's too much. It's unnatural. Doesn't look good. It's bright. All right, but I'll go back to something like this a little bit. Okay, that's not bad. And I've got good quality everywhere. Let's get my magnifier up here. Look around. I've got pretty good quality everywhere. Quality seems to hold up pretty good. I don't have a whole lot of white dots, so I think I've got my DE stop in pretty good shape. All right. Yeah, he could almost be carved out, and you never miss him, because he doesn't really kind of sort of belong there, but all right. So pretty good, pretty good. That petal really cleaned up nicely. All right, got some deep shadows in there, which kind of makes it interesting. All right. All right, I would say that we are in pretty good shape here. All right. Okay, so what I did here in the last 3 or 4 sessions is, after I landed on something from years ago, I discovered this. I tweaked out the scene. I got it so that it balanced, so it's not clipping. Then I worked on the shadows. I worked on the coloring. I worked on the light source. I tweaked the colors a little bit, and the ambient light and the ambient shadows. I worked with the gamma a little bit to give me a good contrast. Okay. And from a composition standpoint, I think this is pretty good. It's balanced, but it's interesting. It's got a floor to it for kind of the viewer's stability. It's believable, but yet unfamiliar, familiar but unfamiliar. It's not nauseating. Well, maybe it would be to somebody. It could almost pass as something real. It's organic, so it doesn't have hard, rectangular, straight edges anywhere. I'm probably going to have an easy time rendering this out. I'm not going to have a whole lot of dithering effects. So I think that this is a pretty good image. Pretty good. The only thing I don't like is I don't like this guy here, and I may very well carve him out with another piece of software. I don't have image editing capabilities with the Mandelbulb, so getting that out of there would be kind of tough. I could certainly move the camera so that this is moved out of the scene. But overall, I like the scene that I have here. So I would prefer to take that out with image editing software rather than to shift my scene, my camera. But I could. But I think we have enough here to move into a big render. All right, which is, I think we're going to do that in the next session. So in preparation for that, I'm going to do a save again because I did monkey around with a little bit. All right, so there's my V6 final. Don't really care about a quick revert anymore. I'm going to just kill that notepad. I don't want to save it. I don't need the navigator anymore. So, okay, so in the next session, we're going to take this and we're going to run it into the big render. We're going to big render, and we're going to talk about all these various settings. We'll talk about anti-aliasing. We'll talk about how many tiles we should do. And then we'll punch it down here and we will get an X number of tiles that then we're going to use the image J with its plugin and reassemble the tiles. And that's what we're going to be doing for the next, I don't know, half a dozen or dozen or so sessions. And by the time we're done, we're going to have a nice, big, massive render of this, which is going to be a pretty big file, and we'll inspect that big file to see whether or not the quality held as we went through that whole big render process and then the merging. Does it hold together? That's what we want to know. But I think we've got a very good foundation to move into the big rendering, and we'll learn even more. All right? Hey, listen, get yourself, we're kind of at a turning point here. We've gone through all of this. Rest up, get yourself a coffee, and when we'll return, we're going to move into the big rendering process. So get a little bit more technical, but that's what we're here for. Hey, I'll see you in the next session. I'll see you there.